So my name is Haoyu Wang. I'm an architect and an artistic researcher from Aalto University in Finland. My research focuses on the architectural imagination, basically how we envision urban and ecological futures in architectural languages. And I'm proposing artificial intelligence as a new method to interrogate and challenge the popular media narratives for artistic innovation. So this presentation discusses my working methods through my case study on Japanese urban futures, which is supported by an art residency here in Kyoto. And that's why I had the idea of attending a conference here in Kyoto, but unfortunately we're switching online this time. So the research is framed by this theory of media recycled futures that nowadays artists and designers can no longer imagine truly alternative futures as we're living in the cultural loops of popular media narratives. Theoretically, it links to different aspects of contemporary cultural practice, like the digital reproduction of creative contents that are made untraceable, the dissolving public expectation for radical social changes under a neoliberal economy, and also the spatial homogeneity of postmodern urbanization progress across the globe. So it's easy to see how architectural imagination plays a very huge part in shaping these media recycled futures. And of course, we architects have been reflecting on these biases, and we are developing counter narratives through speculative design, like the fictional design of Liam Young, which takes sci-fi movies as both the inspiration and the target to challenge by design. But here comes the fundamental gaps between theories and practice. Like, how do we precisely identify the underlying biases of popular media narratives? And how much weight do they carry in shaping the media recycled future? And finally, like when developing counter narratives, how do we know if they really work against the cultural loops? This actually also applies to the broader subjects of artistic research, because we're now only rely on subjective interpretation and evaluation. So it's a common problem in the art field. But now we have generative AI, which is, I know is a highly contested technology in arts, because it basically embodies the media recycled creativity that we're criticizing. So the image generation models are basically fed by massive data sets of online media, including the curated and unstructured data input. So they can generate the commonly acceptable response to our prompt. And in this case, a generic prompt will lead to the very biased, stereotypical, and simplified images within its data capacity. So when thinking reversely, like, can we actually utilize this generic feature to decode the media recycled biases for these artistic questions from my last slide? So here comes my experimental methods. First, I'm using Stable Diffusion, by the way. So it starts with a generic prompt to produce a large batch of future city images. In this case, I'm taking 1,000 images as a manageable size by my test. And then I conduct reverse prompt engineering on Clip to generate the detailed description of each image. I put all the keywords and phrases together to rank their repetitions within the whole batch, the 1,000 captions, which shows how much weight each keywords carry in shaping these generic concepts. And then for the next iteration, I refine the initial prompt by either highlighting or blocking these keywords. So in this case, it progressively gave me the insight into the underlying impact of each media references. And then for the question about counter narratives, I will conduct speculative design based on these identified keywords, and I will compile my design imageries into the training set, data set to fine-tune AI models. Or in the plain language, I will teach AI about alternative futures. And then I reiterate the keyword interrogation cycle on the new model to assess the performance of my counter narratives. So this is a part I'm still working on, but there are some quite interesting progress to show. So what's your impression about Japanese urban futures? My initial prompt gave me 1,000 images paired with descriptions and followed by these long procedures of keyword extraction, filtering, and ranking. I got this list of top 100 media references. And of course, I manually validated them against their source images. And then I categorized these keywords into 8 groups that are relevant to my focus, like urban spatial forms, conceptual genres, places, and people's names, and so on. And I did my text image analysis on each of these references to get a group of key ideas. I'm not going to go through this long process, but the main problem is that I found too many non-Japanese reference, like Dubai skylines and some other old American sci-fi titles, which did say something about popular media, but it's not aligned with my contextual focus. So based on the analysis, I added concept art into the initial prompt for the second iteration. And now the results become more sensible in respect to Japanese ideas. And there are some overwhelming presence of cyberpunk titles mixed with Tokyo references, like Akihabara and Shinjuku. And most of these keywords point to the techno-determined and ritual ideas that categorize Japanese imageries. So following these key ideas, I reiterated the process again, and this time with negative prompt engineering to block Cyberpunk and Tokyo, respectively. And turned out that these top references had quite different level of impact. Like blocking Cyberpunk can simultaneously reduce the weight of Tokyo references, but when blocking Tokyo, the results just went completely non-Japanese, which shows like how it actually informed the Japanese urban futures. So by reiterating what I did again and again, we can actually go much deeper into this deconstruction and interrogation of the media recycled concepts, which can help artistic researchers to identify the underlying biases of contemporary media trends and also the amount of weight they carry. As for the Japanese subjects, we can see the level of impacts from conceptual arts, cyberpunk, Tokyo, and also some spatial design concepts like mass housing. And of course, these results are bounded by the AI model capacities. And also as a new method, it requires new triangulation design, which will be explored in my future studies. And now before ending, I want to show some very early stage progress for the second phase of my research, which is to test counter narratives of Japanese urban futures. Although I haven't started to design anything yet, I've already started training Stable Diffusion with the photos I took around Kyoto and Nara. I was searching for something against cyberpunk or Tokyo, something that is underexposed in the global media, but are interestingly Japanese. In the end, I found these tiny parcels of rice fields that are shared by the neighboring household in a suburban area. And that's something I can work with for alternative urban futures. So I compiled hundreds of my photos to train Stable Diffusion models. I'm still working on it, but these are some testing images generated by this in-progress model that reinterprets Japanese urbanism with a shared farming idea. And after completing, I will take this new model to reiterate the keyword interrogation process to see how they actually perform against the technological depression of cyberpunk Tokyo biases. And lastly, some selected references, basically the theories regarding the media recycled futures, and also the AI tools that I've been using. Yeah, so this is a research in progress, so stay tuned and thank you.